Okay, welcome to the Adventure Archives Patreon exclusive Seneca commentary. Got here to the teaser.
In case you didn't know that this is Adventure Archives, you have found the right place.
In case you didn't know that you were supporting us on Patreon.
So this footage is from throughout the trip, obviously. It's teaser. This is always the last thing we do in every episode.
Yeah,
It's always like a scramble at the very end, like, oh crap, we need a teaser.
It kind of makes sense though, that you would do it last in a sense.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
What
You know what the theme of the episode is.
Yeah.
at that
what
point.
inspired you to write something like this for this episode?
So I actually, even when we were filming it, I think I wanted to focus on something about change and how you find consistency and community among that change, and so that's what influenced the whole narration. Actually, I remember like the last scene where we're all sitting together, I was trying to talk about that and like direct the conversation. I was like, I got it all in my head already.
I'll just make it narration.
Oh man, this episode, so we specifically decided to go out where it was snowing.
Yeah. It was
The reason my
between-
car is so dirty is because literally a week before this we were doing the Hoosier episode.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
Less than a week, really. Like, it had been less than a week when we got back.
True.
And it was between this area or or Michigan, an area in Michigan.
What month was this?
This
March.
is February.
February.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Now, okay.
that's still winter, okay.
So be honest, after we did Hoosier, were you guys looking forward to this trip at all? Or were you a little...
I don't remember now.
Yeah, I remember being less apprehensive than I thought I would be, because it can be kind of exhausting doing it back to back.
Yeah.
But
I remember that we were really banking on the fact that... So the reason we went to Dolly Sods was because you said it's higher altitude, so we were hoping for snow.
right.
And obviously, it gave us what we wanted a second time, because the first time we went to Dolly Sods was specifically for snow in a winter episode.
Oh yeah, when we got there and then the snow was falling like that, it was just like so exciting. You're
Yeah.
like, yes.
Yeah, because it's funny because we were
Perfect.
driving through West Virginia and it was raining so much, and then suddenly it just started floating in the air, and it's like, oh, it's snowing.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did gradually get into view like that.
Yeah.
We didn't really show it in the episode because
Yeah.
we didn't show much of the driving footage.
So this trail is sort of something we kind of decided on the fly. We were gonna possibly do a longer trail, but obviously as we're going along and filming, reality sets in.
Yeah.
We're like, okay.
Plus, everything is usually planned at the last second when it comes to Andrew's trips. Like, literally, for Hoosier, literally just changed the route
that
at
was
your
hella my
house.
fault.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, this route's better.
This
Backseat
trail was
planning.
very precarious, though. It was like this wide and sloped at an
Yeah.
angle. and
The funny
slippery.
thing is, I don't remember that.
Oh, really?
Like, until we were hiking back out, I didn't remember it being precarious.
So we just did a meetup today. Some of you guys might have gone to it. And somebody was telling me that they heard if you take a photo of something during a trip, you are less
Less
likely
likely to remember it. I read about that.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because for Red River Gorge, I had gone back and done the same trail, and there's an entire section we didn't film. I was like, I don't remember any of this.
Wow, so it's the opposite there.
Yeah.
Had you filmed it, you would have remembered.
I guess, no, I can see why they would say that, though, because you're so fixated
Yeah.
on... Yeah. Man, this was definitely the most wintry episode we had done, though. Like,
Yeah.
And I love these slow-mo shots.
I remember this episode, when we did Dolly Sods winter, it was really difficult because of how cold it was. Like, it was snow plus, like, the cold of Hoosier. This time, it was actually kind of... It wasn't that cold.
Yeah.
Also,
the
our
snow
gear
was super
just
wet.
has improved, too.
That's true,
Like,
too.
you had that new coat.
Yeah, that helped a lot.
Yeah.
What coat did I have it? Oh, I had my brother's old coat at Dolly Sods winter.
Yeah, you got a new insulated shell, right?
It's like literally a down with waterproof water.
Yeah, no, that I didn't have a shell. That's just the coat.
Oh, okay. So, because what I was wearing is I had a down jacket, and then I had a shell that was actually, it has a synthetic inner layer, but instead of that I used real down. But the outer layer is like sort of waterproof and insulated.
But not waterproof.
No, it is waterproof, but just like probably not to the extent that raincoat is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was curious how waterproof my jacket was, because it didn't look like it was waterproof.
Yeah.
But
But it was holding up?
Yeah. I mean, it says it's waterproof, so
Well, during this first part of this trip,
it
did it hold
never
up?
leaked through, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, but for me, my raincoat was wet for the rest of the trip.
Oh.
Remember? Because we hung up like a million things.
How did that
night.
happen?
I don't know.
My stuff dried
It got
out.
wet on the inside?
Yeah. And like all my down layers got wet too. So.
That is one thing. Is like it was more the wetness from the inside. At least on the last part of this hike, the first day's hike.
Yeah.
Because it's just sweating
Well,
so much.
there was three possible reasons. One, it's a bad raincoat, and after a certain amount of wetness, it just gets through. Two, the sheer humidity of that day made it so that either sweat or the humidity somehow condensated inside my raincoat, which is also a possibility.
It's just after Big Sur, which you guys will see eventually,
Yeah.
water just does what it wants to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how we got so slick.
So this area is actually, I didn't realize that at the time, but when we were hiking back out, it really wasn't that far from the trailhead, was it?
No, it
No, it's
wasn't.
super close.
Yeah,
And
'cause
we had,
super close.
I think we were so excited up to this point about all the snow, and we were like, we have to film as much as we can.
It's always
So,
that way at the
yeah.
beginning of the trip. Especially when it's a great place for like film.
I
We've
will
gone
say,
half a mile.
I wasn't apprehensive at all about the trip. I do know that. But once we got to that lake, I was like, yo,
Yeah.
if there's a lot of these, like I was legitimately worried because until we had brought those boots back and we used them,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is not going to be good.
Yeah, once we had the boots and we actually crossed, I was fine.
Yeah.
We originally were thinking about not bringing the boots.
Right.
The only reason I decided to bring the boots was because every time we had gone to Dolly Sides, it had been like a wet mess at some point
Yeah.
during the trip.
Yeah.
So I was like, Dolly Sides, I'm not going to trust them. I'm going to bring these boots.
And we explain it here, but like, all of the uphill at the beginning was so precarious, and we were just like, hiking boots will feel better. But
Yeah.
we didn't anticipate all these stream crossings. But yeah, after we did it though,
Yeah, because I was worried that it was going to take a long time to
Oh.
like switch out the boots and everything, but it was nothing.
Yeah.
it's funny because those stream crossings, like, they are more powerful than they might seem.
Yeah.
But now that I have that expectation, they always end up being less powerful than I expected.
Yeah.
Like in Whitney, the stream crossings were not nearly as bad as I thought they'd be.
I should have brought a second pole though,
Yeah.
because it helps to have just that extra stability.
Yeah.
Especially if you're carrying camera gear or something.
And there we're using the tripod as a.
Yeah.
After crossing the stream, we decided to just leave the neoprene.
It was definitely made it for a very, very unique and memorable experience having to do all that.
Yeah. Oh, this is totally unrelated. Sorry. the lighting on these shots here
yeah.
are so interesting because it's almost like the snow was. It's not almost. The snow was a reflector.
Yeah.
So it's like we're really well lit. It looks like we're in a studio or
Yeah.
something.
It gives it that like green screen look almost.
Yeah.
This is definitely the snowiest episode we've ever done.
Yeah. Because by the time at the end of Dolly Sod's winter, it was melted, right?
Yeah.
I'm really happy
On
that
the last
we
day, yeah.
got this episode filmed because
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do a super snowy episode
Yeah.
for a long time.
Like every winter, like we want a good snowy episode, and we almost missed our
Yeah,
chance.
yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
was one of the last times it snowed. This
It's funny because we actually have gotten comments where people are like, "Oh, they don't go camping in the winter," and it's like, well, it's more that we can't find winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've gotten comments like that.
Just a couple. Like,
Oh, okay. We've done tons of winter episodes. I feel like.
Well, they mean like deep snow and stuff.
Oh. Yeah. No, it's like you
Yeah.
have to find it. If we're talking just cold, we've camped in the cold.
And it had been a particularly warm winter up until like March.
Well, like early February, we had a whole week of like a blizzard, and we missed it.
Oh, was that when I was sick? Didn't
might
I
have
get
been-
sick
yeah,
at
it
some
might have
point?
been.
Yeah. that threw us
oh,
off track.
right.
Yeah. So at this point, before this trip, we were really worried we had missed
All around us,
any
That's
good
the thumbnail,
snow.
right?
Yeah, that is something.
everything was cold. And
That's a
But
really
that's
good
actually
shot.
why we did these episodes back to back, is because you were sick, and we were like, okay, let's
Yeah,
just.
that's so-
We were like, let's film something, and then we were looking at the weather, and the next weekend we were like,
Yeah.
we might be able to get snow.
snow has picked up
Is that the
Did
tree?
you, did you stick around for that whole week, or did you actually go
No,
back?
I went back.
Oh.
It's getting dark already.
That's one of the benefits of filming in snow is even though it's dark, you still get a lot of good bright shots.
Yeah, yeah. the
Up until the
reflection.
last minute.
This is not. Oh, Hoosier was the first gimbal episode,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
The river
Yeah.
and falling snow provided a
So yeah, if you see those smooth shots, it's a new piece of equipment. we got.
But I will say, at a lot of points, we were not using it because the snow was coming down so thick.
so
and
wet,
really
yeah.
wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's snow that's actually almost like rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just laughing at your sandwich.
Yeah. I was loving it.
I'm actually kind of a fan of that now. Like after having done it, it's really convenient.
Real food.
Yeah, it's like a nice, real satisfying thing.
Yeah.
It's already made.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly that snow accumulated too. Like, it was about this tall probably.
At least I would say 4 to 5 inches.
What total?
No, 4 to 5 inches had accumulated between when we arrived and like when we got to the campsite.
Really? I would have said like 2 or something. 2 or 3.
I don't know about 4 or 5.
That's like.
Oh, maybe you're right. Okay, maybe 3 inches, 3 to 4 inches.
It's funny how dark and blue it became. Like, as soon as
Yeah,
dusk hit.
I was watching this and I'm trying to think. That is about how dark it was, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Just like
I
what
think
we're
so.
looking. Because sometimes like we got the one camera that's really good in the darkness, so it looks brighter than it actually is. But I think we did a pretty good job of accurately portraying how dark it was.
Yeah.
So this was the second crossing, and this was even less of a big deal.
Yeah,
The biggest concern was just the fact that it was dark.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think at that point we were pretty confident that we could handle the river crossings.
It's so funny because like there were so many points where it would have been easy to give up, but the payoff was so worth it.
Yeah.
It's not very clear what I'm doing here, but I'm basically just tying like a normal knot, like the basic knot that you learn to tie your shoes. But I'm tying one lace to the other, and the knots get stuck on each other. So like when you pull the laces apart, they snatch onto each other.
And is it easy to undo it?
It's easy enough, yeah. It's just it's a good way to secure it really easily without having to think too hard about how to tie them together.
It's funny because, as I understand it from what you've said in the narration you wrote, that you were worried, or that you guys felt like this was taking a long time
Yeah,
to
I
get
did.
to the
Yeah.
thing.
You seem pretty calm. the whole time.
For some reason I didn't think it was that far, and I was kind of sure that we would find a campsite. I don't know why I had that feeling. But
I mean, I was sure, but there's still part of me that was like, okay, how long will it take? It was more a matter of when than.
I was unaware that. So sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I was unaware that there were actual designated campsites. So when we were hiking that whole time by the river and we were seeing nothing that looked like flat land, I was really concerned that we were gonna have a lot of trouble finding some place to camp.
Actually, they might not have been marked on the map yet. Yeah,
I don't remember
might
if
be
they were
right.
marked
Yeah.
on the map or not. All I knew is that that junction was however many miles away, and it wasn't, what was it, less than 2?
Yeah. It was 2 miles exact. Oh, the junction. Yeah,
Just that
was
junction
2,
where we
yeah.
camped at. So I was like, dude, at that junction, there has to be something. That
Yeah.
many intersections.
Yeah.
And even if there wasn't, there would definitely be space to hike somewhere.
We'd be the only people there, so at the very least we'd be like just set it up in the middle of the junction.
That's one of the best things about hiking or backpacking as a hobby is that if you want solitude, it's like you can get it really easily.
Yeah. I love these shots, by the way. Like the light glinting through all the snow is really cool.
Yeah.
And we might have passed already, but there's one where we're walking towards the camera, and that was actually us going backwards on the trail. Because you were filming and you were like, oh, it looks cooler this way. But it's funny because it's downhill, but you can't really tell. Like your brain kind of tricks your mind.
That's cool how there's like steam rising up
Yeah.
from your face or something.
I think it's his breath.
Also, our headlamps are tilted that way because that's just how the lighting looks best with the camera.
Yeah.
Determined to find a great campsite.
I like how a lot of these shots are like someone spying on us
Yeah.
from behind you. Like,
It kind of adds to that like,
Yeah, it-
tense feeling.
yeah, it really does.
Yeah, so we found sort of a flat area, and we have had trips in the past where we've like settled and camped in a less than ideal place, but
Shenandoah.
yeah, and
Setting up camp.
Allegheny too on the last night.
We kept on.
That's true. Yeah.
What was the one where we hiked and camped in the thunderstorm?
Oh yeah,
Monongahela?
that was
No.
Daniel Boone.
Yeah,
Daniel
Daniel
Boone.
Boone. Yeah, that was not a good spot either.
Yeah.
But we seem to just come across more stream crossings.
It would have been fine if it didn't rain.
Yeah.
I was fine.
Well, no, I mean, it wasn't a bad spot, but it wasn't a good spot.
Yeah, it
either.
wasn't
It was
ideal.
like very unclear. And
Yeah.
So one really quick note is a lot of the music in this, at least the stuff that I wrote, I was trying to use instruments that sounded wintry, so like higher pitched things, crystalline sounding.
Yeah, we had talked about that.
Yeah.
Winter is always such a great
Yeah.
like music thing because it's so easy to write for you. It's like, yeah, I'll just do some bells and
Yeah,
tinklies
yeah.
and
Sleigh bells, like some
yeah.
high piano. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that.
Thematically, it's
I really love that instruments evoke certain feelings. Like, it's so cool
Yeah.
that that's the case.
I wonder, is it chicken or egg, right?
I'm pretty
See-
sure in this case it's the music was created and then that became stuck in people's minds.
But-
I'm almost certain.
But I will say, like sleigh bells for sure are like a thing that.
yeah, that's
But then there's certain things that kind of evoke what naturally is there. So like the higher pitched sounds, it kind of makes you think of like crystals and ice and stuff because like
Yeah.
you clink crystals together. And
Perhaps.
then
Yeah, that's true.
Clinking.
But then there's things like if you think about video games like the desert sound, desert
yeah, a
music.
lot of that is very like
Yeah.
cultural.
That's cultural.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew looks like, with those boots and those brown pants, he looks like a character from a World War II video game.
I can totally see it. Well, okay, so this was like one of the greatest feelings of relief, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just.
Oh yeah, getting to that campsite. It's so cool
Such a
because it had the
perfect-
table.
Yeah.
We already knew we were doing the hot pot, obviously. So to see the table and be like, oh, this is gonna be perfect. We put
Yeah. And it's funny too because like if it weren't for how perfect the setup was, I think there would have been a big part of me that would be tempted to just be like, forget the hot pot tonight, let's just sleep.
Yeah. It was definitely pretty cold that night. I remember as when we were waiting for the hot pot to heat up. I was
Yeah,
really cold.
I was soaked by it at this point because it was
Yeah.
all uphill. It was like Panther Creek Trail,
Oh yeah.
Smokies,
Yeah.
and so I was shivering. But I remember when we saw this sign and it said 2 miles, I was like, how is that possible? Because we were really slow in the beginning, but once we started going uphill, I feel like we were not stopping as
That
much.
was a long 2 miles.
Yeah.
I still question these things sometimes.
Yeah. The biggest question though ever was T Creek Trail where we
When it
did a
said
mile.
0.9 or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
were hiking for like 4 hours. There's no way, dude.
Yeah.
Like we're slow, but we're not that slow.
Yeah.
Some of those have to be as the crow flies or something.
Yeah.
So, Andrew,
Yeah.
what do you think? Did it help?
See,
My mom,
It's
when
hard
she
to
watched
know.
this episode, she was like, "So did it help?" And we never addressed it.
Didn't we? I thought we did.
No.
I
Oh.
don't know. Well, here we go. It's really hard to tell because there's like no comparison, but I feel
Yeah.
like it must have. I mean, I think my clothes at least dried, and I felt warm, so it certainly
yeah.
didn't hurt.
The only time, the one basis of comparison I have in terms of what I remember was when I was literally sitting in the tent with my shirt off because I was changing my clothes, and I was just in the tent with my shirt off, and I didn't feel cold at all.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, this has got to be working.
That's a pretty good basis.
Yeah.
Well, so another thing is in the morning I noticed condensation, and at first I thought it was because we had put that up and it was blocking the mesh. But I mean, didn't yours also have condensation?
I don't remember.
Condensation is.
Yeah, I think it's
gonna
pretty
happen,
standard.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it actually hurt at least.
But the wind, well, I guess we'll talk about it once it gets to the night. The wind was intense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But the logic is sound in this is that the mesh netting, you expect a lot of the heat to rise up through the netting and escape out of the tarp or the rain fly. So
It
So
reflects the heat.
This hot pot, amazing, so much fun. This night it didn't get quite as hot as
Yeah.
we wanted, but both nights after I ate this, like, I don't know if it was I ate too much, if the food wasn't cooked enough, or what, but just like the indigestion I experienced was legendary.
Oh, really?
Have you ever used the sauce that we had? Because maybe you just had you don't like that
Oh,
sauce.
maybe,
like,
I
you
don't know.
agree
Was
with
it
that.
during the trip or afterwards that you felt
No,
during?
it was the second night especially. I was up for like hours just
yeah.
burping.
That's unfortunate.
You could have a bad reaction to that sauce.
Yeah, maybe. I honestly think it's I probably ate too much because it was just so exciting. I was like, oh,
Well,
yeah.
also
Yeah.
we were trying to get rid of all the food so it'd be
Yeah.
easier to clean up.
Yeah.
And I bet like some of those vegetables we didn't let them cook long enough, so they were super tough. You know.
Yeah. Well, so I had dehydrated them, which wasn't really necessary in this weather, but my reasoning was one, I just wanted to see what it'd be like, and two, it would make it lighter and more compact.
Oh,
So
so
that way
I
we could have
didn't. I
more.
didn't say in here because I was just like, it's not relevant. But I really did not like those.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't. I assume it's the sweetness. I mean, because it's got a.
No, it's the terrible seafood smell.
Oh.
Like it literally tastes like.
But isn't it similar to the squid? Like, kind of a similar flavor?
No. This tasted like, maybe I got a bad one. That's possible too. But it tasted like I was eating the dirt from the sea.
No, to me,
Dirt of the sea.
to me it was like this sweet, glazy, savory umami thing. And
Yeah.
it tasted exactly how I imagined it would, but
I feel like I tasted something like that before, but I don't remember.
No, it's this little anchovies with the almond slivers.
Yeah, the little anchovies.
I just
Those are
didn't
so
want to
good.
be contrary, so I was like, they both like it. I was just like,
I could tell you weren't really into it.
I mean, the fact that you only ate one was pretty obvious.
especially me.
Yeah.
It's also just like such a communal style of eating, you know?
Those are great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like edible sponges.
Yeah.
And then this yam. I was actually originally going to bring this on Hoosier, I think. I left it at home.
Oh, right. That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Look how purple that is. It's like purple
Yams are so cool.
The only problem with like yams and
So these vegetables
those
are dehydrated and
starchy
this
root
weather, you really don't
Oh, they soak up
tubers.
water.
No, not even that. It's just they take so long to
Yeah,
cook.
yeah.
your vegetables perishing. And the other
Although
Like
they
the
actually-
second night we
yeah.
had more time, but this one
become lighter.
we definitely
Yeah.
kind of ate them while they were
I was
crunchy.
surprised they cooked through pretty well the second night.
Which is also a chrysanthemum.
Okay, you said you called those what? Tong
Tong
ho?
ho, yeah.
It's tong ho or something.
Oh,
like that.
really?
Yeah.
Tong ho.
But
I'm not even eating.
Maybe that's like the
Yeah.
Cantonese.
Tong ho.
Yeah, that might be.
Here we've also got some onions.
It has such an interesting, like, herbal flavor.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Golden needle mushroom. But this is actually a mushroom that grows wild around here.
Yeah. I was about to comment on this mushroom, but everything I'm saying I've already said in the episode.
Golden needle mushroom is like, it's quintessential for
Yeah.
hot pot for me at least.
Yeah.
I really wish you had dehydrated them, but
Yeah, my bad. Well, didn't they end up kind of similar, though?
no, they were very chewy.
Those ones actually, I will say I was a little worried about those going bad, though, because I've had mushrooms go bad pretty quickly. I guess it was freezing cold, but
It was just so cold.
It was.
That's why that water doesn't look all boiling.
yeah, it wasn't boiling at all.
Hot pot, man, you want to like.
Yeah, you can't even see
It's
any
in the
steam.
name.
Yeah.
Hot pot.
Well, barely.
This was like heat pot.
Yeah.
Warm pot.
Warmth pot.
Lukewarm pot.
A little undercooked, but it's actually
Luke pot.
It's just the guo. No.
It's funny how this is kind of like Japan, both in terms of like the eating scene, but also like the food is taking our place when we were at the hot spring. It's like instead of dipping into a hot spring ourselves, we're dipping our food into it and eating it.
we're drinking the hot
It's
spring.
like if I can't have a hot spring, my food will at least.
So, I haven't watched this in a while, but did we successfully edit this down enough?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because man,
I feel like we've been talking for a while about
40 minutes of hot pot footage, like raw
Yeah,
footage.
yeah.
this. Really? I did not know that.
At least, dude, at least 40 minutes. And we have to go through all that. It's just like a nightmare to edit these things. Like, I remember we edited up to this part, and then we just left it on this, just like this huge block.
Just hoping the other person would
yeah,
edit.
it's like, I hope Andrew will do it.
So like I edited the first chunk like sort of up to here
Yeah.
while I was out in California, and then you were editing a lot of the other episode, and then there was the second night with the hot pot, and I was basically working on that while you were finishing up the rest of the episode.
Wait, so did you guys heat up more water and drink it?
Yeah.
I was like laughing in the tent because I'm like, those fools are trying to warm up by drinking water, and I'm already snug in my sleeping bag, already warm.
I hope the smiler.
I really like these indoor shots just because it really captures the cozy feeling.
That's something you probably will notice in a lot of our recent videos is that we try to get, me and Andrew at least have been trying to get more intense stuff because we sometimes forget to do that.
Yeah.
and especially with this sort of climate, it's like, oh, that's like such a quintessential part.
Yeah.
Summer not so much.
Shelter.
Summer you just
Yeah.
want to sprawl out.
The shelter from in the tent from the elements
Yeah.
feels like just feels like a natural part of it. So you can see like we were really crowded because we had so many things hanging.
Yeah. I think my stuff actually dried though. Like I was.
My blue one did dry out by the end of the trip.
Okay, so during this night, the wind was just like ripping through the, like you could hear it coming because it would be like ripping through the trees and then
Yeah.
like it'd get to you.
Yeah.
And then just my tent was like.
So why'd you take your rain fly off in the morning? I was curious about that.
No idea.
Maybe it was wet or something. Condensation.
Maybe.
Do you know what time you had gotten up?
Also no idea. I just remember I was like, man, I'm gonna have some of this ramen, dude.
I remember I was watching this. I was like completely unaware at the time that you were doing this.
Yeah.
Just like, I think me and Bryan were just so reluctant to get out of the tent because it was so warm.
It was very nice.
So normally this would be coffee, but I haven't been drinking coffee the last few months. So I needed something. Something in the morning.
That's a perfect breakfast for this.
It was very, dude.
Oh yeah, so sheets of ice were like sliding off the tent.
Yeah.
You hear them just go shh.
I think on that one though, you
Yeah, I had
purposely had me hit the tent.
because it's just so hard to get it when it's happening.
Yeah. Did you notice that in that scene? I'm getting out of the tent from inside, and then it cuts to you getting out of the tent.
Oh.
I don't know if you noticed that when you edit it.
That
but
happens in the second morning too.
Is it? Oh, maybe. Oh
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
second morning.
Yeah.
You're right then.
Oh, so this is.
But was that on purpose?
I don't know. Robbie edited that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it
It
probably
must have been,
was. Like if you can't tell the difference, then I'm like, yeah. Or I mean, if you don't know.
So I say I was looking forward to using that because I just like couldn't think of another phrase, and I was like, well, that's not quite what. It's just.
I have and never will
better
use
than
snow
rocks.
as toilet paper, but I can't imagine what it feels like.
It's better than rocks.
I bet it's probably pretty good cleaning wise.
Yeah.
Like it's nature's wet wipe.
Though I've got a story about that on the second night, which I'll tell once we get there.
There's more gimbal shots.
Yeah.
It's all smooth.
So great, yeah. So actually, I think we were debating which way on the trail we were gonna go at first.
Yeah, because originally we were gonna do the whole entire loop.
Yeah.
But I think we agreed that cutting across would have been better.
You know, I was telling you guys this, and I don't want this to sound like bragging because that's not what I mean. But this is the exact type of show I want to watch. Like, this is like the most quintessential. We're making what we want to see.
Yeah.
Because like I'm watching this right now, I'm like, this is really entertaining.
Yeah, actually, it's been a while since I've sat down and actually watched an episode. But I was watching this the other day, and I was like, I'm actually getting really captivated by this.
Yeah.
It's funny too because we were trying to release this in April, but the road trip got in the way.
Yeah.
But if we had, it still would have been on time with the weather, like because it was still snowing in Ohio in April.
Yeah, this is so crazy. We got back from the road trip, and it was like it had snowed the day before we got back.
Yeah. And it was so funny because the entire road trip the weather was amazing.
Yeah.
And then as we went back up north, it just got colder and colder and colder.
Speaking of weather, the weather for this, it's so funny how these things work out perfectly sometimes. I mean, sometimes they don't at all, but
Yeah.
but in this case, like, it was so snowy the first day, then it's still snowy, but it's sunny the second day.
Yeah.
It's just so perfect. Like, that is just so quintessentially Winter Wonderland.
And at this point, I'm wearing the dark blue rain jacket, which is actually Robby's.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because
Because it was wet. I was wondering about that. I was like, why were you wearing that? It was weird.
And everything sparkled as we made our way through.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, this path was kind of just a straightaway.
We came to a split in the trail.
And I bet actually without the snow, it might have just been like a gravel road or something, but
Yeah.
the snow makes everything look so pretty and natural.
And someone commented about the contrast of our colors with the white background.
Yeah.
It really is cool.
I like that a lot, yeah.
Brain? Isn't the brain basically just like a contrast detector?
I think so.
fundamentally?
Yeah, I think so. Doesn't Jordan Schlansky say that about Conan's fashion? Like,
I don't
he's
know.
like, Conan is demonstrating the contrast.
Yeah, I do remember that actually.
so late today that we're already running out of sunlight. I can't see.
So any comments on this music here? Or like, oh, actually, I do have a comment here. This melody is very similar to a melody of a song in the Whitney episode, I think. Hardy Perseverance, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Is that this one?
Well, so all my melodies, they end up sounding the same.
But you know, it's like, it sounds like a bad thing, but in a way, it creates its own, like, our own
Yeah.
style.
It's really hard to write music that you don't naturally gravitate towards. Like, you really have to work at it to write something different than
Yeah.
what just naturally comes out.
It is
Like,
good that
at
all
least
three
for
of
me.
us.
Like all my guitar music is always usually
yeah.
this very slow, like relaxing type music, and I cannot not.
But it's
write
perfect because it's like
we have very
Yeah.
different styles, so like it works really
Yeah.
well.
that. Robbie, you brought like a whole picnic basket worth of food.
Was your pack heavy this time?
I don't remember. It's weird. Ever since I changed my tent and sleeping bag, my pack weight hasn't really factored.
Huh.
Or maybe I'm strong. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was wearing that coat and you just can't feel it digging into your shoulders as much. But just like the last few trips, I haven't even thought about what my pack weight was.
Yeah. I know. I've gotten to a point where I'm very happy with my pack weight.
This is a random note, but that outer shell I have, the coat, I actually got that while I was preparing for the Find Your Park expedition. It's like some of the free stuff REI gave me.
Wait, did we? That
Was
shot
that
with the.
time-lapse? That was, right?
Yeah, that was a time. But there's one in Hoosier where it's moving fast.
Oh, okay.
What were you saying?
No, I was just saying there was a shot of the sign and my my walking stick was there with my gloves on it. Did we purposely put that there?
No
I don't
idea.
know.
Remember?
A lot of these shots are really interesting. We're shooting towards the sun, and we're walking this way, but we're still well lit, and it's because of the snow.
Mm-hmm.
It's bouncing back. That's
It was
why
really cool.
And these were definitely deer.
Yeah. I really wish we had found some of the hair, but usually it's pretty easy to find a little bit, but I just couldn't find any. And
I mean, I say it in the episode, but I'm still amazed by it. How do they just sleep out in the open?
I mean, they've got the winter. They've got their winter coat, but also they're probably like conditioned to it. Like humans are probably able to get conditioned to that if we just experience it more often.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking about sleeping out in the yard tonight. You know how cold I'd be?
You'd have to to compare. You'd at least have to be wearing like a coat of some sort.
A fur coat.
Yeah.
Wear a deer pelt.
I suppose if you
Wear
had
that Jabba.
if you had like
The
your
human
sleeping
Jabba.
bag and like it was waterproof and you just laid it out on the ground, I'm sure you could be fine in most temperatures.
Oh, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I've done that before, so yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That was in the snow.
Yeah.
Well, also, what I will say is I think animal hide is designed to like wick moisture away, so it's not like it soaks in. I think they've got like oils and stuff that keep them dry underneath.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's a song that's not my... Well, I have two types of songs. I can do this type of song, and I can do my regular
a really
120
good
beats
song.
per minute song.
This is a great song.
This was there's an instrument in Logic that's a backwards bowed piano.
Oh,
So it's like zero, zero. That's what that sound is.
I love that we saw icicles too. I feel like they might be brown from the sap and the dirt, maybe.
That's usually the case, isn't it?
And it's cool. This stream is just like it really clearly shows the transition of the weather. Like at this
Yeah.
point.
I mean, not that this helps the people who are watching this, but whenever I watch these episodes, it helps me remember the whole trail because I can fill in the blanks looking at this. I'm like, oh, I remember what the rest of the trail was like.
Yeah.
But obviously,
I will say, yeah,
when
this
viewing this, you can't.
this section felt a lot like the other Appalachian trails we've done.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of the trail felt pretty different
Yeah.
for the most part, except for the very first part.
Man, you know one of my most vivid hiking memories is the last day of the Smokies when we were hiking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that whole trail. I just remember it very distinctly.
Something I love about winter hiking is just you realize that there still is like a lot of greenery, like especially in this landscape.
Yeah.
Because there's the ferns, the moss, the evergreens, the rhododendrons.
Evergreens in a snowy setting is like so picturesque.
That one shot earlier that was going through the logs, I remember specifically doing that.
That was with the tripod, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Upside down tripod.
We
obviously.
continued hiking parallel to the brook, as though its soothing sounds were leading us to our evening's destination.
So at one point, Robby just didn't bother switching boots.
That wasn't until the next day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That stream crossing, I was able to get through without getting wet.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, my boots have lost their waterproofness, which I found out here.
Have you tried reapplying anything? Or
I did. I haven't tried getting them wet since then, though.
this little rocky alcove was really cool for some reason.
Yeah. This was right before the campsite.
Yeah.
The trail turned the corner and soon revealed a wonderful sight.
Yeah, Brian, I remember said something, or I don't know. I just
I don't
remember
remember.
you were the one who found this campsite,
Yeah.
and it was just such a feeling of relief. Not that we were having a hard hike, but
But we were just so excited. It's like when you in winter episodes, especially finding a campsite is just so great.
and it's a rare occurrence. Like this is such a cool campsite.
Yeah.
And
And it was overlooking like everything. It was really
It'd be funny if one of us had stayed here or someone else stayed at
Yeah, walkie-talkies. How's it going down there, guys?
That's great, dude.
Yeah, every campsite we saw had those chairs set up.
Yeah.
And we were wondering if every person who had stayed at this campsite just had the same mindset of let's build a chair out of these rocks, or if it was literally park rangers came out there to build the chairs to encourage people to use those campsites and not make their own
I hadn't
campsites.
thought about that. That might be right.
Because if I saw that, I'd be like, heck yeah, I'm staying at this
Yeah,
campsite.
why would you stay anywhere else?
That whole trail, it was just very typical Appalachian sort of.
I know you guys haven't seen Captain Mark, but it does look a lot like Captain Mark.
I YouTubed it.
Waterfall over there.
It was a very surreal landscape. Like it feels like almost.
I was like, what? That's
Like
not
you-
in this episode.
You see landscapes where like different landmarks are congealed together, and it's like this doesn't look natural, and it kind of felt like that in a cool way. But
I mean, this is a very surreal landscape. It looks like someone took a bunch of like key.
that might be exactly what I'm saying right now. But also the pools with the reflective water look really
Those are cool
classy.
colors. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen
Like
them.
a little.
I mean, I've seen it, but
It's like the end of Return of the Jedi.
Also, the way the sun is on those hills reminds me of Kumatori.
yeah. It's like, you know, one thing we got to think about how to do these shots better.
Yeah,
These are the most boring shots. It's like we want to get everybody in, but it's just
I think part of the problem is like getting an interesting shot requires extending the cables. And stuff.
it's a lot of.
But we
setup.
could do like 2 cameras or something.
Actually, I just thought
I love this pool of water for some
Well,
reason.
now that we
Wow,
have the
that's
gimbal, we
awesome.
could do more walking and talking.
So cool.
Well, no, all three of us.
Oh.
When we're all talking to each
Don't
other.
forget about
Like,
water.
night armor, ride a horse or something.
So, were you like what compelled you guys to explore this area? Because like, I mean,
Well, we had gotten to
as
the
opposed to
campsite
doing it
so
the next
early,
day. I mean, yeah. Okay.
and I figured we should just go down there, right?
That is like, it's kind of fun doing that. Like when you've settled down and you can wander without trying to get anywhere.
And not have to carry your packs,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, well, my biggest reasoning is that we weren't going to be staying here tomorrow. So
Oh, okay.
if that
True.
campsite was better, I wanted
So you
to see
actually
it.
had that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think I just didn't know for sure if there was even going to be a campsite out there.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see so many campsites.
Yeah, because there's one across the river too.
There was just a ton in that area because it was all flat. Yeah.
It's like Campsite City.
I know that
Such a
Valley
cool
Side,
area.
certain parts of it are naturally boggy, but other parts are actually kind of deforested. But this kind of looks natural just because it's such a small area.
Well, I'm almost wondering, should we camp at that? Go check that campsite out, 'cause that looks
Infiltrate eyewear.
to be staying there tomorrow.
Shout outs to Mike.
Oh, I didn't know you had a hat from. Oh no, I
You
did know
sent
that.
2
Yeah,
hats.
yeah.
Oh, the only hats I own now are from,
Yeah.
from him.
I think that's what I appreciate
2 of them.
most in a hiking
There is
landscape.
something cool though, like when the journey stops being a journey and you can just wander. It's like
I don't know, I think this is
everything around you becomes sort of a playground that you get to
Yeah.
explore. It's like
You know,
There's also that sense of
very rare occasion.
that, I don't know how you would describe, just that feeling where you can explore without any pressure of having to get somewhere.
it's like
you
being
know?
a kid, like
Yeah.
exploring your backyard or something. Except it's a new backyard every
That's
time.
literally narration I used in the Manistee
Oh, that's
video. it's like exploring your backyard.
Stay tuned for that video.
For our tents right here, just
that chair was very comfortable, by the way.
Those were really comfy actually, for being made out
The
of rock.
contour was the craziest
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
Like, do you think that the contour is there because somebody has sat there that many times, or is just
It couldn't
that
be, right?
crazy that
Yeah.
it can't be, right? I
Yeah,
don't know.
no, that would take hundreds of years.
sets.
Yeah.
Like someone would have to sit there and be like rubbing it.
Getting their
Or somebody
bare,
like sandpapering
their
it.
bare bottom so that it's like the sebaceous oils are like corroding the rock.
Set of leaves that are close to the ground.
Sebaceous.
Once it has to sit, it doesn't want to use
Hi, my name is Sebastian.
parts of the stump. It also has huge legs. I've seen people wrap
It's so funny because
bitter, so
to me, seeing this plant here is actually kind of fascinating for some reason. And to anyone else, it's like, okay.
Oh, go eat some plants.
But it's cool to seeing like the mix of ecosystem.
Those look
That's
just like lychees.
Is that
man.
thistle?
Yeah. Burdock.
Burdock? Oh, they get those?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. The
Velcro.
late stage burdocks, right?
Yeah, that's what inspired Velcro, like that exact plant.
Man, it's so funny that perfect area was just melted out. It's like here,
Yeah,
don't even need to worry about snow on the ground.
We got so many shots of us doing this.
Like this
That-
right
that
here
was a match in
captures the feeling that we were feeling so perfectly.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
That's
This
a
is
great
a composite shot, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the sky's exposed differently from the ground.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it does capture that feeling. Just
Because I just remember the extreme relaxation that I felt.
it's a very happy song too.
Allowed for a more laid-back
Oh, this is the different instruments. Same song as earlier, though, right?
No, that's not Till the Morning. That's
Oh.
this is your song.
Oh, right.
I
I noticed.
can't
I noticed the
Okay,
morning
yeah.
having the same tune.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What song is this?
Then it's time to arrange
Oh,
your
right.
dining room. Set it up for tonight's hot
So, if anybody's wondering, these muck boots were a gift from my sister and her husband. He works for them distributing them, so he was able to get like a deal. on them.
Yeah. They worked
And
out
it
really
was,
well.
It's so funny how like perfectly timed that we got
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
looked around.
Yeah, you know, the more I think about it, the universe has coincidences, but it almost seems like they're purposeful coincidences. you know?
Kind of just
Because we had just gotten those muck boots probably like
definitely chaga.
Yeah,
And I might
yeah.
take a little bit of it.
Was it that week?
January.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
After dinner.
Then
because his deal ended at the end of the year, I think.
God, that was so relaxing.
Yeah. And the funny thing, another thing about those boots is just I remember when we were getting them, my first thought was like these will be like, will we actually really need boots like these?
Well, I was imagining using them in like the Arctic, like in Canada or something. But yeah, perfect.
Unbelievably useful.
Man, something about that campsite with like the rock slabs.
This hot pot was
So cool.
unbelievable.
I think maybe the stone furniture appeals to me because it's like it reminds me of childhood, like Flintstone stuff or something.
Well, it's just very, very natural and rustic.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I bet what it would remind me of would be like when you are a kid and you go into the forest and you like make your own little place.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at this. This is true hot pot.
So we've also got some carrots.
If people don't know, for the people who don't read Chinese, hot pot is called huoguo, and that basically means
like fire.
fire pot.
For this last night, 'cause
Different connotation in American English.
Getting pretty hungry. Yeah.
It was what a perfect meal. Like hot pot is such a perfect meal for this sort of setting,
Yeah.
and it's so easy.
And that's the biggest pot from your little cooking set, right?
Yeah,
It's funny how perfectly sized it was too.
yeah, yeah.
just eating the sauce.
I had been wanting to do this for a while.
Yeah, the hot pot is a game of patience.
That jar that the sauce is in is a Talenti ice cream jar.
I was wondering, I was like, that jar, like,
Yeah.
it's like something.
I don't know where it came from, but it's funny.
What
Oh.
brand?
Talenti gelato.
Never heard of it.
Oh, they sell it at the grocery store here. There was a time where I was really craving coffee ice cream, so I got that.
God, that sounds
You
amazing.
dropped some mushrooms, I just realized.
Oh, I picked those back up and ate them.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing is like dropping stuff on a stone outside doesn't feel dirty, you know.
Well, there was a tampon, no, a
Oh,
maxi
yeah,
pad
yeah.
under those stones in the fire.
It's so disappointing to find an awesome campsite and then see people leave like charred
Garbage.
tin
Yeah.
cans and stuff. Like,
Take your garbage out of here.
I mean, why would you
wrong?
like?
Pack it in, pack it out, people.
Do people not realize that metal does not combust?
I mean, the metal is not. I can live with
You
the
can live-
metal
yeah,
if you're
right.
going to do that. Your tampons or your maxi pads, I can't do it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's like disgusting, dude. That's like putting your toilet paper in
Yeah,
the
it's
fire.
like a
Don't
diaper.
do that.
Yeah. Another good benefit of hot pot is you eat a lot of vegetables.
Someone actually commented saying all we needed was those thin sliced pieces of meat, and we actually normally do get those.
Someone at the meetup was saying that.
Really?
It might have been the same
Maybe it
guy.
was the same person.
Yeah. Well, weren't we thinking about that?
Yeah,
I think.
possibly.
Were we worried about it going bad or?
I just assumed
I
it
just
was
figured
too
we
much
had
trouble.
too much food at
okay.
that point.
Oh yeah, that might have been it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to grab those.
Yeah, those thinly sliced meats.
Something
boy.
about thinly sliced meat.
It's better when it's cut.
So those mushrooms, for some reason, I think they have a better texture when they're dehydrated and then rehydrated.
So I put my Billy can on top, not only to help seal the lid better and let the pot get hot, but so that would also keep my billy can nice and hot.
Yeah. That's how wood stoves work in a sense. Is like you have the fire going to heat the house, but you put stuff on top to heat it. So
What I got here is it's like a fish cake, and it's made of like minced fish and potato starch.
okay,
And usually one of the main ingredients for hot pot are like little fish balls or shrimp
so
balls.
we are back. We had to take a little battery break, but yeah. I love this 2-camera thing because I don't know, just being able to see into the pot. It's like that's part of the experience when you're actually
That's
in a
true.
hot pot.
Yeah, that is a big experience.
It's like I don't know. There's something so childlike about it, like seeing all the ingredients in a pot. It's like there's something like I don't know, just putting everything in there. It's like a big hot tub, and you want to watch all the different ingredients like swim
And
together.
then like when you go in and you like wanna like pick and choose
Yeah,
things that
yeah.
you want.
It's such
It's
a
the whole hot pot is an experience.
Yeah.
It's not just a meal.
yeah, that's very true. How come your billy can has a dent in it? I just noticed that.
I think it got dented like when we went to either Yosemite or Yellowstone.
Oh,
I think
that
it might
one?
have gotten dented while we were flying. Like they probably were being rough with my
They
pack.
throw those things so they're like, here's a football.
I got a question. Where are you guys' hats coming from? Andrew's got the Neapolitan ice cream. Brian's got the early 90s Extreme G.
I think like
Our mom buys most of our hats.
I think, like-
every winter she's like, "Oh, I bought a hat for you guys."
yeah, half of them are from our mom forgetting that we own hats already, and then half of them are like hand-me-downs from previous cousins.
Yeah. Although I don't know why I'm wearing that hat because I have. Oh, okay, so I think I brought that hat specifically to use as a unisock
Oh, really?
because I have the one I bought from REI, the gray one.
Oh, you
But
you had two?
Yeah, earlier in the video you see me wearing that.
Oh, that's funny.
But that one's really tight and it like actually almost impedes my hearing to a certain degree.
Is that the Mountain Hardware one? Or
Yeah.
whatever? Okay.
So I didn't want to wear that one because it wasn't that cold at that point. I never actually did use it as a unisock either.
Man, on a side note, yeah, I remember you saying that. I was like, why didn't you? But I think I gave you my hat too, didn't I?
No?
Yeah, I thought.
To use a unisock?
Yeah.
No,
thought
you
that
might
Or
have
was that
given me-
Hoosier? Oh, okay, yeah, that's Hoosier. But the stars here were beautiful. Well, there you go. But so one story I have is in the middle of the night I had to get out to go number 2, and I was like, oh man, like at least the snow's gonna be great. And I pick up the snow, and it's all like dry and icy and crumbly. Like snow sometimes when it gets that top layer that's crunchy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. And like as I'm using it, it's like crumbling in my hands. So I have to like get enough so it doesn't run out by the time I'm done. I was like, gotta hurry. But it's got the job done.
It's like when you're on that last bit of eraser. You're like, get the job done.
Scratch the table.
No, you know what it's like? It's when you're like peeling a carrot and you're getting down to your
Yeah.
fingers and you're like, oh god.
Oh yeah, shredding a carrot. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always so funny though when you're like lying in the tent and you kind of have to use the bathroom. And you're like, do I just get it over with now or suffer consequences later?
Yeah.
I've been a little bit better about that now. Like, there's been times where I've literally probably laid in a tent from like 4 in the morning till like I get up. Because I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, man, I really should go to the bathroom. I'm just going to try and fall back asleep. So I fall back asleep.
You don't?
And I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I really, really have to go. And I was just like, man, I should just get up when I need to go to the bathroom, just go and do it.
Well, what I've come to find is like if it's not raining, it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
Cold I can deal with.
Well,
You get rained on enough times, and then you realize when it's not raining, you have nothing to complain about.
I think, actually, this maybe sound weird, but I think another big reason why I don't mind it as much now is because our new sleeping bags, they're so much easier to get in and out of because they're not really, they're a bit more roomy.
Yeah.
For me, at least.
This shot looks like something out of like, at least on this monitor, it looks like a shot of like an alien movie or something.
Yeah, what was the reason why it looked like that? Was
It's just the GH5.
The fog?
Well, that too.
It almost, at first when I first saw it, I thought you were shooting it through the mosquito netting from outside the tent. I was like, why would he do that?
I think I had some narration written for that scene, but it didn't fit. It was like some philosophical stuff, but
Like strange butterflies.
oh yeah, so this song that's playing now is the same song you heard earlier, the last morning.
Yeah.
But I changed some of the more wintry instruments to ones that sound like warmer. So like,
Oh, so you see me getting out.
yeah. And then suddenly,
And suddenly it transitions perfectly
Yeah.
to Andrew, so I don't know if you guys noticed it or if it was
I
on
think it was-
I
purpose.
definitely
Yeah.
noticed it, but I was just like going with it anyway.
it's funny that we filmed it like that too.
Yeah. Also, your commentary or your narration about us emerging from green.
Oh yeah, I had to put that in. That's like such a thing we would say. But yeah, so that song has like harp and stuff instead of whatever wintry things.
It is kind of funny. You mentioned in the narration, but this is one of the very rare times where you guys are up before I am.
Yeah.
That's probably because you said you didn't
Yeah.
feel good and you probably slept in.
I was lying in the tent, just miserable, and I started playing Final Fantasy VII on my phone just because I couldn't fall asleep and I was miserable.
Oh man,
That's all I was doing.
I feel like we might have had to use the bathroom too, maybe. I'm not sure, but that's usually what compels me to get out.
I
This-
think, I mean, that combined with the fact that it wasn't nearly as cold, you don't feel compelled to stay huddled in the sleeping bag.
So you don't remember this tasting bitter or anything?
Well, I wasn't really tasting it that much. I barely tried it.
Because when I had it, it almost tasted as if you mixed black coffee with tea. Because it was like bitterness of the coffee, but with this weird herbally flavor. But Herbert. But it was good. It was actually very comparable to coffee.
Actually,
That's slow-mo, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, when I first saw that, I was like, that is some very thick tea.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at my face a lot because of the vlog, so I've seen my face a lot. If you look at my face, like I was not feeling good, dude. My eyes are just like swollen shut almost.
That is a very...
Yeah.
So it was the indigestion.
Yeah, just, I don't know. Body was not doing too well.
It's a good thing it was the last day.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have drinking more of that medicinal tea.
You
Yeah,
actually
it's-
look much more Asian than I
your
normally
hair
do.
is down, so it's like you look like a peasant or something.
We went about our morning.
How long have you had that red hoodie?
Now almost 3 years.
Okay.
Worn it like every day.
So,
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah.
I had been wearing the muck boots the entire time, and there was a part that was chafing the back of my heel really badly whenever we would go uphill. So I had to cover it up, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to continue walking.
It's funny, we don't usually show ourselves brushing, and we,
We
actually
usually don't.
Yeah.
This is a new addition. Actually bringing in toothbrush and toothbrush.
Well, I had some previous trips, but these days I just can't stand the feeling of like fuzzy teeth in the morning.
Fuzzy teeth.
You know, just that placky feeling.
Yeah. Fuzzy is not a word I would use to describe
People
it.
always describe it that way. though.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
I
actually
don't know
think it.
why. That's
Well, I
weird.
sort of get it, but it's
For me, it's just they feel rough. Like they feel like a rough texture, but fuzzy makes me think of like
Yeah.
I'm licking like a carpet or something.
they feel like an elm leaf.
something I cannot relate to.
So apparently, if we went back on the trail, somewhere at the next junction, I think there's like a waterfall.
Oh, really?
Did somebody tell you that?
I actually knew that beforehand, and originally we were gonna pass by it, but we shortened the trail.
Oh.
But the way we took looks cooler anyway.
Yeah.
So. And we still saw this cascade.
Everything worked out. It's funny how often things just happen to work out.
And if they didn't, I mean, like, think about our worst trip or whatever. If there was something amazing like 5 feet away and we just missed it, we just don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I love the way
remember
that
spending a lot of time in the morning just kind of wandering around here.
we also took a long time walking the very first section of the trail. Like,
The wonders of nature never get old. Even in more familiar, subdued landscapes, there are countless treasures.
I thought we were gonna be crossing the wooden bridge that's coming up.
Oh yeah, I thought too. Also.
Yeah, but we didn't. So, but I still wanted to incorporate that in the shot, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
Yeah.
And this rocky path is cool too.
yeah.
We continue down the path, excited to see what new wonders
Okay, so-
nature had in store for us today.
At some point, your boots got wet, and I gave you my boots to wear.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's funny because later when we do the stream crossings, rather than do the ferry go round or whatever, I just put on my wet boots.
I think I was like, I can wear my boots if you don't want to get your boots wet. And you're like, no, it's okay. And then I think later you're like, we probably should.
I said I regret having boots because they were just. It wasn't just that they were wet; they were literally holding all the water, like walking in 2 fish bowls.
If there's something I can endure, it's mild discomfort.
That's true. You are really good at that.
Andrew, you want to give me that sleeping mat so I can be warmer and you can be colder?
Oh yeah, this is so weird.
Weird, yeah.
Embedded in the ground.
I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, my only thought is, like, at some point a tree fell over and happened to bend it, and then over time it got buried, and then, I don't know, something happened to the tree or whatever.
Oh, you know what? Maybe the tree formed roots from where it was or something. Sometimes plants do weird things like that. Because the roots could be what's holding it in the ground.
Oh, so coming up here, we're gonna have to find out. Was that? What do you guys think? Was that actually soggy bread? Or do you think?
I'm sticking. My headcanon is that it was soggy bread, just so I can laugh at the fact that you were inspecting soggy bread.
I still think it was a mushroom, but
I don't know. That looked a lot like soggy
little
bread.
cascade is cool. Never really noticed that before. I mean, mushrooms can get pretty soggy and gross like that, but you never know. I mean, if we found a maxi pad, then who's to say we couldn't find soggy bread? I look like something out of a Ford commercial.
That shot was incredible. Like, not to pat ourselves on the back. That gimbal is just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching this. We get a dizzying amount of shots.
This was like such a short section of the trail.
Like ridiculous, dude.
No matter how many times we say
cuts, dude.
Yeah.
Look at this.
This was a cool shot up on the hill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a cool
Nice
shot.
and open.
Did you slip there just now?
Oh,
Or was that
I
a
don't
trip
know.
on my eyeball?
I didn't notice it, but it's
just
possible.
yesterday,
I love this
it
shot
was
too.
covered in
I don't know why I love those sorts of shots.
Those type of, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
very
it slowly
atmospheric.
changing focus?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Now I see it.
Might have been in slow mo too.
Dang.
That's such a cool shot.
Yeah. Good job. I love that too. Like the reflections, it's so cool.
This
I mean,
is a good episode for cinematography.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
it's like most of the credit goes to the equipment and the environment.
Yeah.
Well, just like
Oh, okay.
That's
here
a
we go.
soggy bread, man.
I don't think we got enough
Yeah,
close up
we
of
didn't
it.
get a close up of
It just falls off.
That's why I think it's the soggy
But it's got like a little, yeah.
Because, like, it doesn't just fall off like that.
You might be right. Well,
Whatever it is.
What's funny is that Andrew's got his sack of like peanuts and he's chewing while he's talking. So it's like he like took a. It looks like he took a bite of it.
What if he
like,
said, well, whatever it is, let me get my peanut butter out.
I started hanging my my bag of snacks on the front of my belt loop.
So it literally became a nut sack.
It was a convenient place for it because I was snacking on the go. I don't know if you'll see it. You can
Snacking
kinda-
on the go.
Those boots are like Goku boots or something.
Now we were used to it.
They have very distinct boots in Dragon Ball.
So one of these shots is actually set up in the river. This one, and it's like you can't really tell, but well, maybe you can.
I
you
can't
can
wait
definitely tell.
till we release Zion and all that
yeah.
footage from the
I
Narrows.
can't wait to see it myself because I
It's
don't
gonna be
even know what you guys have done
yeah.
yet.
That's gonna be so fun.
That's gonna be very interesting.
Those roots are really cool.
Oh yeah. No, I really thought they were interesting, but you said it right before I could say it, so I was like, well, I'll just agree with him.
So
Covered in sunshine. Most of the snow has thawed. And
Yes,
they made it
deeply
now.
concerned.
Hills right next to each other, like within feet of each other.
it's really cool seeing that as you're walking down that valley,
In the environment.
the shade in the sun.
Yeah.
They actually say like look on south-facing hills for more L's in the spring, purely because of that.
And it also affects like which way the moss grows.
Yes, very interesting.
It's one of my classic close-up of a moss shot while I walk alone because I'm being left behind. I've been dilly-dallying.
The uphills were a lot less treacherous now that things had melted.
So, in our shots, if you ever see me and Andrew alone, it's because Robby's getting the shot. But you never really notice that as much because it's 3 people to 2 people. But when I was in Manistee and I was trying to get some shots and I didn't want to keep stopping Nicole and having to put her dog on her leash and stuff, it would just be me. And it's just funny because immediately you notice, like, there's someone missing from the shot. So, like, having the 3 people is, like, the perfect.
This was such a bizarre.
No offense to Thomas.
This was such a bizarre moment because just suddenly the forest ended, and we were back in this meadow, and it was especially surreal because it looked so familiar, but all the snow was gone.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I didn't recognize it at all because I didn't even bother to look at. It was dark when we got to the campsite that first night, and I didn't even know there was a big open area right next to us.
I thought we had a shot of the tree, like panning up.
We decided to stop.
Did it just? Maybe it didn't take or something.
I don't know. I don't know which tree you're talking about.
The one right out in the meadow.
Oh. This episode we rented a lens. It's the widest lens we've ever used. It was 14 millimeters. So some of these shots, they look impossibly wide because it's even bigger than anything we've ever done before.
Oh, forgot about that. It is really funny how much this area felt like home already. Like, that happens a lot in the wild.
Yeah.
I wonder if part of it is just like,
It's got to be DNA, like telling you, if you found a safe spot, remember this place.
I was gonna say the experience of like toughing it out in a location that was safe just makes it so much more familiar to you.
Yeah.
It's like when you share a meaningful experience with somebody, but it's a location instead.
Me and Andrew were tossing around the idea of getting like a 4-person tent, and then we just split up the pieces
That'd be
and we
so
all carry
fun.
it.
That
That'd be so
would be so much fun. Oh my god, dude.
We could even do that for canoeing, actually. It'd be great for winter, but
Yeah. We could do a split up episode. And I guess we'd have to do it on the first night. So we split up in the morning, and then we all have different pieces of the tent. So then we have to meet up to
that'd be
actually
cool.
make the tent, you know.
a Voltron
tent.
of shelter.
Although if anything went wrong, it'd be bad.
It's like, well, I've got the poles.
We'd have to improvise some sort of shelter with our rain covers.
It's like
You
use
just
the
take one
poles.
pole and you swipe at the rain as it comes down. Or like helicopter.
Yeah, I remember I was watching this and I was hearing myself say stuff, and I was like, I know I had like a train of thought, and I couldn't remember at the moment.
For a little while longer before.
So you had a point you were trying to make?
Yeah.
You never felt like you made it?
I think I did it. Yeah.
So this ending's funny because I was texting Andrew and I was like, is there any way we can like do this ending differently, or you know, like some creative way of doing it that we don't normally do with slow-mo and epic music?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, let me think about it. And I was thinking about it too. And then I was like, well, let me just put the song in and see how it fits. And I texted Andrew, I said, never mind, I put the song in and I love it.
It's so much our taste,
exact same thing we've always done.
Today we face more changes than ever, with developing cities, technological.
I mean, we have had episodes that have ended differently, but I think
Society fluctuates.
I think this is better though than, well, it really is just all about the feel of the episode, because like we used to do things where it was like the car driving away,
Yeah.
and that kind of fits in some aspects where it's like the car leaving is kind of like gives you that feeling of you're leaving.
Completion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completion.
Was our sense of community.
See, like, that's my worry, is I don't want to get too formulaic, but at the same time,
Brings families together.
the new environment brings the uniqueness.
I've never felt like it has felt stale yet.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
But at the same time, it is also fun to think of new and
yeah,
different
always
ideas.
push and like
Yeah.
try to do something different.
Well, actually, originally the Seneca Rocks was the shot I wanted to end it on.
Yeah.
But
We embrace that
Um,
change together
it wasn't so.
when we can truly thrive.
this was the saddest post
Yeah,
hike.
I was
though.
gonna say.
Oh,
Such a
right. We
sad
didn't.
post
I actually
idea.
got rid of it from the credits because I didn't want to show our secret shame, and I didn't want to promote like
Oh,
some
go
fast-
eat Burger King.
But well, so partly because we had enough footage to fill out the credits,
Yeah.
but also it's like,
We went to
I'd-
Wendy's, and it
Yeah.
was
Was it
just
Wendy's?
like
Oh, right.
the crappiest.
and I don't want to promote some chain restaurant. I'd
Yeah,
rather promote
yeah.
a local business. And,
But it was just weird. Like we were trying to find a
not that
place
that
to
would have
eat.
promoted it.
Yeah.
Now they'll be like, now I'm going to Wendy's. They said it sucked.
But yeah, no, we were. Like,
Yeah, it's not like we just didn't bother with it. We tried to find something and we just couldn't for some reason.
It's because it took so long to. You know what it was? This is actually what it was. There were lots of options, but I wasn't hungry.
Oh, that was it.
Usually we let your stomach decide.
Really quick,
We're like, is this
these,
okay? You know, usually we go, is this okay? And Robbie's like, yeah, let's go.
So really quick, this is Seneca Rocks, which is like a really famous climbing area in this area. It's like this thin sheet of rocks, and they were way bigger than I expected them to be. And it looked like Chinese mountains.
Yeah, it looked just like a Chinese mountain.
It was so cool.
So the reason what happened was it took like almost an hour to get to the rocks and then to get back. So in that
like, my
time,
bad,
I
guys.
was so hungry, I ate my leftover food.
Oh, I remember that. You were
yeah,
eating
yeah.
sandwiches in the car.
Ryan would like to say, as always, remember to keep sharing and caring. It's funny because the framing, I had us do left and right of the frame because I was imagining it'd be when the credits are in the center. But it worked out that all the ones we were saying here were framed on the left side.
The last one, I'm being covered by the last bit of the
Yeah, but
credits.
yeah, me and Brian were like, next time we're gonna go outside and film it.
Yeah.
But it was late at night.
Because usually what happens is like Andrew at like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. is like, yo, we gotta film the shout outs. I'm like, well, we can't do it outside
Well,
now.
in you guys' non-defense, it's like to throw you guys under the bus. I told you to do them before it was dark, but you guys didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not defending that. I'm just saying Andrew just came up and was like, we gotta do these. I was like,
Because we've done so many just terrible shout-outs of like, these are our biggest supporters, and we're giving them this crappy, just like at the last second, just like an interrogation light on our face.
It's like, okay, I'll say it if you. It's like a hostage video or something. All right, what do you want me to say?
Patrick Clifford, he was at the meetup, right?
Oh, nice.
Because he said Clifford like the big red dog. Unless there's another Clifford, which is very likely.
Don Dotson. There's so many interesting names. Also, I just realized Jen Potts must be related to Jim Potts.
Not necessarily. We got lots of Pruitts.
Yeah, that is so
We
funny.
met, which Pruitt did we meet? I forgot his first name. James Pruitt. Yeah, we met James Pruitt today.
Very recent supporter on Patreon, but huge fan, and we really appreciate his
Brent Titus. Isn't Titus a Final Fantasy X character or something?
Titus.
Yeah, but they call him Titus.
Oh, really?
The canon name is Titus, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Hey, speaking Esther Sue guy, she was a regular viewer of my Twitch stream while I was doing it regularly.
Peking Seeger. It's like Pete Seeger. This is like the segment in Whose Line when they start reading the credits at the end.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just trying to see if there's any names I recognize now from the.
Al Cavalier. There's no way that name is real.
Oh, there's Johan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How hot smells.
Chicago Ree.
It's like a very nice broth.
The Shu family.
Christian Hazard. TK Wu. Chante Glanville. That's interesting.
Oh, there's Yoga Happiness.
Field Notes from Wild Places.
That's Burgundy's yoga thing.
Good old
Oh,
Seth,
okay.
Seth and Melissa Domback.
Fat Times
Seth
Podcast.
Yes.
Domback is like one of our most old school.
Good old Samuli. 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 He's the long time one, isn't he? Vern Nin. T6 Beats.
How come David Heineking has his own line?
Up here. Pamela Footman.
I guess it wasn't even numbered.
The video stewards. They are stewards of our videos, apparently.
The video stewards.
There's someone named
That's not a
Quadmonium.
website, is it?
I think it might be. Quadmonium sounds either like someone from the Tron future or like
Quadmonium.
from medieval like Quasimodo.
Yeah. So this footage obviously is just from the hours and hours of hot pot footage we had to sort through.
Just extra little goodies. There is like often a lot of funny stuff that happens in these dialogues.
Did we already release the bloopers for this?
No.
No, that is coming.
Have we edited those?
Well, by the time they see this, it will be released.
Oh, okay.
We have edited it though.
Oh, okay.
Those spiders apparently, I think some spiders just like live, like they just stay out in the winter.
Wow.
Tough it out.
What do they eat?
Good question.
I guess they don't need to eat that much. Look how small they are.
Yeah.
Just drink some snow. Okay, well,
Thank you so much.
thank you for watching the commentaries. We hope you enjoyed it. And
That's it. Thank you.
it's a lovely
Thanks.
day. Have a good day.
You got something between your teeth.
Well, now you tell me.
I didn't think it would probably be noticeable, but.
This is 4K.